himself to the clouds in the sky. It's beautiful. We study nature. We study the sciences. And his final test, which was the beginning of a whole new course of study which lasted a lifetime. That's a beautiful theme of the ancient mysteries. It's absolutely a beautiful theme of we Freemasons. In our rituals, we seek the light. We constantly seek the light. We're brought to the light. But what do we see? We see the 3 burning tapers, the lights of the lodge room. We see various different types of great lights, a book of the law, the square and the compasses. They're differently arranged in each degree that we participate in. We're given a brief exposition as to the meaning of these symbols, including the circle, bounded by 2 parallel lines, with the Bible on the top of it all. We're told that the parallel lines represent the patron saints of Masonry, St. John the Baptist and St. John the Evangelist. And if we keep ourselves within the circle, we can never err. Often, that is it. Usually quickly forgotten or filed in the back of our mind as an obscure statement. But what about this search for enlightenment, which is really as old as our species itself? What do we do with this fascinating symbol? The point within the circle. What does it mean? The way we Freemasons approach this is we say faith in most organized religions often means that one must trust that what is dogmatically told to the congregation is absolutely correct. Personal faith, a belief that one's relationship to God is one's own business, or questioning the revelations of a church founders becomes heresy, and often in history has had cruel consequences. There are many symbols in religions. You shall believe when you see this symbol. A symbol requires interpretation by the observer, not a definition by a third party. So when we approach this idea of looking at a point within a circle, in Masonry, according to Osborne, we are told that it represents the boundary which keeps us from erring, and the parallel lines represent the Holy Saints John, etc. It has other interpretations, interestingly, here too. Now, what's this? I just told you about one interpretation from the Kabbalistic point of view, from Brother Zeldis. Listen to how Osborne expresses this. The point within the circle. It's like the cycle of the year. You go, wow, interesting. With the parallel lines representing the vernal and autumnal equinoxes. The point and the circle have been interpreted as symbolic of God, or the universe, whose circumference is nowhere and whose center is everywhere. One can find many books on philosophy, sacred geometry, Masonry, religion, alchemy, astrology, Hermeticism, in all the various disciplines, all discussing the point within the circle and the parallel lines. Isn't that interesting? It seems like there's no end to the idea here. And the more we learn, the greater we can appreciate this. The more meaningful our participation in our Blue Lodges becomes. That's the value of as broad and deep a study as you can make in Freemasonry, in all aspects of it. Some of these ideas, these interpretations, are dogmatic. Some of them are descriptive. Some are just informative. We haven't even touched on the Ouroboros. Do you know what the Ouroboros is? Let me show you a picture of the Ouroboros. That's the Ouroboros. The snake swallowing his own tail. Well, this too, as Osborne properly notes, the snake or the dragon bent into a circle devouring its own tail. This is a symbol of eternity itself, you see, or the eternal cycle. How many cycles of seasons has our earth gone through? Multiple millions. From our perspective, it is an eternal cycle. Well, the point within the circle can represent that. Sometimes it's depicted as having a pearl in its jaws, which can be emblematic of the moon in its monthly cycle. So here we have another cosmological cycle that this simple earthly symbol of a circle and a point in it can represent. It's the pearl of wisdom. This can lead to the symbol of the snake shedding its own skin, which is also a symbol of eternity and immortality. It's also a symbol of renewal. By studying nature, we understand concepts such as infinity, eternity, immortality, the study of nature. We take that seriously. I love coming out into nature and expounding on Freemasonry. It's a delight. There's nothing like it. Try it, you'll see. I'm getting ready to go on vacation this next week, and I'm going to make lots of videos on vacation about Freemasonry. You'll see. There's some fun stuff coming down the pipeline. Well, anyway, for those who are seekers, the symbol must be studied, the various meanings considered, but then we must meditate. Be introspective. Fully feel what this symbol means to us individually, how it affects our very being. Now, there's a number of hymns that associate the sun with light and deity. And he describes some information on the myths of the Norse and the Egyptians that Joseph Campbell, the world-famous mythologist, talked about. This knowledge of space is the knowledge of our lives. We are born into space. It was from space that the Big Bang came and sent forth its galaxies. And out of the galaxies, solar systems, the planet we're on is a little tiny pebble. This is the fantastic mythology that's awaiting for anybody to write poems about, he says. He's on page 13 here. Mythologies are not invented, they are found. You can no more tell us what your dream is going to be tonight than you can invent a myth. Myths come from the mystical region of essential experience. He's following Joseph Campbell here. He goes on to describe the unique perspective, now this is so fun, that the space traveler has gained. The man who went to the moon. His perspective changed. The Earth was a small blue-green pebble in the void of space. And further, that we should nurture and care for it. Most of the travelers and crews in our space program evince the same feeling. When you look down on the Earth from on high, there are neither nations nor boundary lines. You don't see it as nations and boundary lines and individuals. There's only a beautiful planet. This includes a number of passengers to either the space station or on orbital flights. They all say this. I recall an Arab prince who flew on one of the orbital flights and then he gave his broadcast to Earth. He said, he's paraphrasing him, I look down and I see no boundaries. I see no states. I see only the beautiful land below me. Returning to the point within the circle, a symbol of the sun, and perhaps a symbol of God, for more than 5,000 years, we find the symbol in ancient Babylonia and Assyria where it has an astrological notation. I've written elsewhere of the Hermetic philosophy, but suffice to say, Hermeticism teaches how to balance. The idea with Hermeticism is how to gain equilibrium in all things. And this is what constitutes perfection. The imbalance results in chaos. We, as in the inheritors of this tradition, should retain an open mind. Whether the ancient observations of man are correct or incorrect, it makes little difference to us. That's not the issue here.